Oh boy, I really need to make a video. What am I going to make a video on this week? Boy, well, I've got all these Mac Minis that, nah, people got to be sick to death of Mac Minis by now. There's got to be something else I can do. Hmm. Hey, yeah, maybe that. Maybe the 30-inch Apple Cinema display. That might work. Welcome back to Broken Electronics. I'm Lee, and I'm so glad you could join me today. And forgive me my little uh, different kind of introduction. We are today going to be focusing on the 30-inch Apple Cinema display. Now, it has played a rather important part in recent videos, and will be continuing to, in that it was a very convenient display to which to hook up the various Mac Minis that I've been featuring. It originally came to me along with that Power Mac G5 that you see underneath it, and its original Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. Kind of an amazing package, which I got for $100. Pretty astonishing. These Cinema Display HDs will go for at least 200 all day long these days, as long as the adapters are available with them. So yeah, that was a great deal. So what I propose to do in today's video is take a closer look at them, examine one of the little idiosyncrasies that we discovered in hooking up Mac Minis to this display, and the answer I found to that, which applies to using this venerable but still beautiful display with more modern Mac computers. So if you're interested in learning about all of that along with me, please stay tuned. Now, the Apple Cinema display was Apple's premium monitor line from 1999, along with the introduction of the G3 blue and white, up until 2011, when they were discontinued, although I believe they were still offered for sale on Apple's website as late as 2014. All right, now if we look at this 30-inch behemoth from this angle, this looks really modern. Yeah, it's like something you could buy from Apple today. But let's take another look quickly. Stay tuned. Yes, this side view is where it screams out early 2000s. That is a thick display, an amazingly thick display. All right, now I described this as the Apple Cinema Display HD, one of only two, the larger of each version of the Cinema Display received the title HD. This is one. Let's take a look at another one. Stay tuned. All right, this is the original Apple Cinema Display HD. This one dates from the year 2002, and you can see its design language is very, very different. There's a lot of acrylic in there. It looks a lot bigger than the 23 inches that it actually is. A lot of that, of course, these very, very wide bezels that you see there. The design language of this was intended to go along with the design language of the venerable G3, G4 Power Macs, from the blue and white up through the mirrored drive door. These displays still work very, very well today with the proper adapters. If you happen to see one offered, do be a little careful. What supports it? There is a kickstand kind of affair on the back of it. So it basically is sitting on a tripod with those two legs you see in the front that are clear plastic, and then that kickstand in the back that you can't see. those often break. On this one, they're intact, but those can break easily, and if they're broken, trying to use this display becomes quite a pain. Now I got this one also along with another computer, my G4 Cube. I hesitated about buying that machine because the price seemed pretty pricey, but it came along with a monitor. It didn't really say what the monitor was, but when I took delivery and got that huge box, it's supposed to have a cube in it somewhere, and pulled this out, that was quite a surprise. All right, now let's compare this with a couple of the non-HD versions. Stay tuned. All right, we have here two 20-inch Apple Cinema displays. The one on the left, obviously, is the older acrylic version. The one on the right is the newer version. The acrylic version came out in 2003, a year after the HD version that we just saw. And this actually replaced the original 22-inch version of the Cinema display. Now, the 20-inch that we see on the right here came out along with the 30-inch in 2004. Both of them really very good machines. Currently, they're hooked up to my second PowerMac G5 Quad, which is not currently running, and I'm not going to take the time to boot it up right now. But we see the comparison here very clearly. Stay tuned. Okay, it's about as well centered as I can get it. Let's see if we can wake this computer up. This is a 2014 Mac Mini, and here we're greeted with the problem. In a recent video, I think I referred to this as looking like a 13-inch laptop display blown up onto a 30-inch screen. And if we... mouse isn't away. Oh, there we go. Okay. Get into the system settings and look at displays. 1280 by 800. That is exactly half of the native resolution of this display. Yet that's the largest resolution that we see offered and available. What the heck is going on here? I shall explain, if you will stay tuned. Okay, so what's going on? The native resolution for the 30-inch Apple Cinema Display HD is, I hope I don't get this wrong, 2560 by 1600. It's a fascinating dimension. Compared to modern monitors, the big difference is, this dimension, top to bottom. You get a lot more room that way, which I found very, very handy in opening certain applications. Now, this came, as I explained earlier, with my G5 Quad, and it had never occurred to me really to use it for anything other than the G5 Quad, because that's what it came with, and it works fine with it. However, that huge resolution for its time was beyond the capabilities of the DVI format. So in order to get that to happen, they used a dual link DVI, where you were actually sending basically two images which would get combined on the other end to produce the one image. What we were seeing and have seen in recent videos with the Mac Minis was one of those two images. That's why it's exactly half the size. Now, Apple did in fact realize that this machine would be advantageous to a lot of people using computers other than the PowerMacs for which they were originally designed, and which could have the graphics cards that did have the dual link DVI capability. So they came up with an adapter. Now, this whole thing was Apple's determination, largely due to Steve Jobs, that the monitor should have just one cable. You plug it in and the whole thing works. That would power it. That would provide everything. And it did. And it's cool when it does work, but it really limits things. So we have something like this. Now, there's already an adapter on there to output the signal. What you do is to plug in the DVI coming from that adapter into this box here. That adapter also has both a USB and a FireWire 400 pass-through, and there are USB and FireWire ports on the back of that monitor. FireWire, I guess Apple decided it was dead. That's too bad, because for someone like me who deals with retro computers a lot, FireWire is a very, very handy format. But they did provide the USB pass-through. So the USB 2, unfortunately, ports on the back, now become available. Now, USB 2 can still be very handy. If you're plugging in keyboards, I've got Bluetooth keyboard and mouse connected to this machine. But anyhow, if you are plugging in keyboards, camera, microphone, that kind of thing, USB 2 works just fine. So, using up one of the, I think there's 5 USB 3 ports on the back of that, to use one of those in order to get those pass-through ports is very reasonable. On the other end, of course, you have your USB. This then will plug into one of those USB ports on the computer that I was talking about. And to get the output, mini display port, which is exactly the same plug as used for Thunderbolt 2. Combination there. So if you have mini display port, whether it's Thunderbolt 1 or Thunderbolt 2, available on your computer, this will work out. So I am going to take a moment now, connect this. We'll have to shut the machine down, of course, but connect it now through this adapter, and we'll see how that works. Hopefully, it's going to give us the full native resolution. And if you want to find out if it does, stay tuned. Okay, now I do apologize. I've had to do some judicious cutting of clips in here. I have found an unfortunate side effect of using the adapter, although the adapter clearly works. It will not show the OpenCore Legacy Patcher boot process. You just get a black screen, and I find I've got to turn the monitor off and turn it back on once it's booted up. I mean, everything works fine, and when it shuts down, you see the verbose output. I'm not sure what's going on about that, but that appears to be what it is. However, let's move forward here. Jeez. There we go. Got it in the second try. And that's another thing this does. I've been shutting it down cleanly. There has not been a problem with shutdowns, but we keep getting that error message. And here we are. Okay. Let's open up system settings, and you can see already the huge difference. Go down to displays. And here we have our 2560 by 1600 default resolution. Son of a gun. Okay, so it does work. Now, I think that would mean if you're using this display on a machine that requires OpenCore Legacy Patcher, you would have to do it without using the adapter. I installed Ventura on this machine using this very display without the adapter, and everything worked fine. Why that's happening, I don't really know. If anybody out there has an idea, please chime in and let us know. But anyhow, with the use of the adapter, things are working very, very, very well indeed. So I think we can wrap this up on a largely successful note. Be good to other people. They need it and deserve it. Be good to yourselves. We can do a lot of good for this world, but we can't do any of it if we're not good to ourselves first. We will make this world a better place. It is not yet, so please take very, very good and careful care. All right. I kind of hate to tell you for those people who are sick of Mac Minis, but we are going to be returning to the saga of the Mac Mini for a while yet. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 other machines to take a look at. Then we're going to get an overview of the entire spectrum of Mac Minis from PowerPC through to the end of the Intel era. So until those things are available on the channel, this has been Broken Electronics.